All right, everybody, welcome back to Around the Draft. My, excuse me, I am your host Shayne Kubis, Dalton Blackman, and Jake Brokoff following are with me today. Did I say your last name right? Right, Jake? Because I've never tried to say it out loud.
It's Brockhoff.
Brokoff. Okay.
Yeah.
Why did I think it was Broke?
Every single person always says it
Is
that
that
way.
normal? Okay, so it's not just
It's
me.
very, very common.
Cool. All right. I noticed I never say our full names on here. Probably should do that. Not like I'm hosting the show or anything. Anyway, no. Today, guys, on the Round the Draft show, we're going to be talking about the NFC South in particular, which not the best division in the league this year. The South, maybe just get rid of the South divisions. Like not so great of a year for those divisions, AFC included. So, but we're gonna talk about them obviously first because this is our first episode of a series where we're gonna go over each division in the NFL, do a 3-round mock draft for all the teams in that division to get an idea just kind of what those teams need, see how the draft plays with that, and just have the opportunity to talk about every team in the NFL as we go through this process. So, this will be the first episode of that. Got to start with the South and the NFC worst. I think is the worst division record wise. Maybe the AFC South is a little bit worse. I'd have to double check that. But in terms of overall record, but
AFC
even if
South is
they're
pretty bad.
yes, even if the AFC South
Pretty
is
bad
technically
division.
worse, like is it really that much of a difference? Like we're just starting with the NFC. Might as well. So again, we're going to go through 3-round mock draft. It's one mock draft that we'll be doing with all 4 teams controlled by us. We'll be making each pick as a group, talking it out, trying to figure out how to help these teams out. And some of the teams I think do have kind of the right path. One in particular, honestly, and then another one where I'm like, or the other ones I'm like, I don't know. Some of these teams are hard to figure out. Like the Saints in particular, we know the Saints are going to be the hardest one because, like, what are they? Do we ever know what they're doing other than spending money when they don't have it to maybe win 8 games? Like, I don't know. So we'll see what we do for them. But let me pull up the mock draft itself here. But while I'm doing that, guys, any just overall thoughts before we kind of jump into the mock itself?
Just weird set of team needs. Doesn't really
Yes,
line up with the strength of this draft too much.
I tend to
Yeah.
agree as well. What do you think, Jake?
Yeah. Pretty much the same here. This will be an interesting one.
Yeah, because I mean, the Panthers
Especially
for a
because the
while,
Falcons, you never know what the Falcons are gonna do. So
you never know. They might even take, dare I say, a quarter. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, they already did that once in a weird way. Let's probably not do it again. But hey, maybe they will. I don't know. Yeah, didn't get a whole lot of looks at Michael Penix, or at least they're not going to ultimately get too many looks. But honestly, look pretty good so far for the most part. I would say so.
yeah.
This rookie class in general has mostly, I would say, either lived up to outside of Caleb Williams, which it's the Bears. So like, are any of us really that surprised at the end of the day? Like, we all wanted them to be good, but are we that surprised that they're bad? Like, let's be real about it. Not really, right? Yeah, no. But let's jump into the mock then here. So again, we have a full mock draft pulled up. It's for 3 rounds, and we are controlling just the NFC South. So everything else that happens around it, no trades or anything like that. Far too early to be doing that type of stuff. Maybe as we get later into the draft season, especially once the draft order's official and everything like that is taken care of. Maybe we can entertain doing some stuff like that. But for the purposes today, just going pick by pick as it stands. So, any other thoughts you guys want to throw out there before we actually jump into the mock itself?
Not really. No.
Okay.
Got a question in the comments.
Yeah, we already got a question. All right, Anthony. So, do you guys think a weighted lottery can work for the NFL draft like you're seeing in the MLB, where it forces teams to compete or at least spend money and act like they're going to compete? Honestly, no, because I think for the most part, the NFL draft, especially like even other like the MLB doesn't need one either, in my opinion, because the MLB draft is as much as the NFL draft is kind of a crapshoot. The MLB draft is an even bigger crapshoot because you're drafting kids who may never even set foot on an MLB field like in the first round, and you have no idea yet because they're like 17 years old. Like they don't even really need one either, in my opinion, because there's no incentive to me to get the first pick in the MLB draft unless it's like a generational type player that you know is probably going to be good. With the NFL, like it is still a crapshoot. Even like look how many number one picks, especially quarterbacks, obviously don't turn out, right? Like I don't think there's a reason enough. Like teams, I don't think tank as often as we think they do. At least not really. It just sometimes happens that like a team's like, well, we're already bad. might as well not be good for no reason. Like it's not true. Like I don't think many teams plan to tank in that way.
Yeah, the MLB draft is definitely a crapshoot, but
Yeah.
I think if there's a league that needs that system, it's definitely the MLB because there's definitely not such a difference in terms of actual spending in the NFL as there is in the MLB. There's
Yes,
a
that's
massive,
different. Yeah,
massive
that part of it is very true with MLB. Yeah, the
yeah.
spending amount situation. Yeah,
I think
And I would
me and
argue
Shane are
it's
both
not.
fans of baseball teams that don't really spend money, so
Yeah,
much so.
I was gonna say.
that's it's not as extreme in the NFL. So I think for that reason, that probably won't happen.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd argue it's not necessarily forcing anybody to spend money with the Pirates and A's as prime examples.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Pirates are like we have maybe the best pitcher on planet Earth. Should we do something? And then
this
they all
yeah
look
the
at each other and say no.
There
They're
was a
gonna
year
trade
the
him in
A's
3
won
years.
like 58 games and they ended up having like the 10th pick because they didn't spend enough money to get.
Yeah, incredible stuff.
It's just hilarious.
And you could also draft Kyler Murray in the first round, who's clearly
Yeah.
going to go play football. There's that too. I know that doesn't that pick just end up going to the next year or something? I don't know.
I think they just burn it.
If they just burn it, amazing
I'm
stuff.
pretty sure. I think it's just a wasted pick.
I heard it's something that if they don't sign, then you get like a compensatory pick or so. I don't remember, but I don't pretend to
Maybe,
know anything about the
yeah.
MLB draft. But
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. But it's beyond me at this point.
yeah.
Another one from Anthony here. Question: where do you guys have Mark Gronkowski, South Dakota State Jackrabbits quarterback? I did not watch. Have not watched him, considering he's from South Dakota State. Did not even know that he was declaring. I have heard of him, but if he's declaring, I guess it's worth a watch. But I have not watched him at all, guys.
I haven't seen him a ton, but as a fan of an FCS college, I do watch a bit more FCS. So I have seen him a bit, but I haven't actually watched any film. I don't think he's a top 3 round pick.
I don't.
He's pretty nice.
Two
He could get
guys who might
drafted,
be, or
but
3
he's-
guys who might be. So,
Yeah, he's definitely if he gets drafted, it'll definitely be a 6 or 7.
like a late round flyer type pick. So
Yeah,
Good
but
to
I
know.
mean, anybody at the quarterback position could go on day 3. I mean,
that's
Yeah.
true.
there's not anyone that's clearly separating themselves once you get to that group.
No, yeah. If you have some tools, like I haven't watched, I don't know if he's more of a toolsy type of guy, or if he's one of those like does all the right things, carries the water type shit thing, or is he actually like super? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. Not familiar with this game. Now, if he's got tools, I'm interested because not many of these guys have tools, so maybe worth a later on flyer. But no, let's jump into the mock here. So let me pull everything up. So we should be good to start. Now, I'm very curious. Now the Patriots are first on the board. I think we kind of know where this is going to initially start based on one PFS rankings and also just in general where people have rankings. I assume Hunter is off the board first, but kind of after that, is it going to be quarterbacks back to back? Could it be quarterbacks in the first, 2 quarterbacks the first 5 picks like we expect? I don't know. We'll see.
You say that, but I just
Yes.
ran a PFF mock right before the show just to get ready for this.
Okay.
They had Tet McMillan going number 1 overall.
I have seen that before. I've
Which
seen
would
some
be
mocks of
wild.
that. I've seen him go number 1. I think in like 2 mocks in the past.
Interesting.
Very
Well, hey.
Yeah.
The only team that's another from Anthony here. Honestly, the only team I believe is scouting Travis Hunter at receiver is probably the Patriots. The rest of the top 10 is probably scouting him in corner. I think all of them are scouting him at corner primarily.
Yeah.
Like I would guess. And I think just because that's the only position he can play full time, that would also allow him to play some receiver, right? That's the key thing here is whether you think he's a better receiver or corner, which I'm definitely higher on him as a corner than a receiver. But even if you were higher on him as a receiver, it makes way more sense to allow him to play corner and then also moonlight as a receiver, like 20 to 30% of the snaps occasionally. Like that's where you can get value from him as a 2-way player, is playing primary defense, complementary offense. So.
Yeah, you can't really play part-time corner unless you're the
That's
4th corner, which
right. That's
wouldn't
really
be a good
hard.
stuff.
Yeah, because you can be the 4th receiver and play 300 snaps a year. That's possible. You can't really play corners unless somebody gets hurt, obviously, in which case he's not playing as much receiver then. So it's a weird thing, but I do think that's the best path for him. Now, this is one thing, since we're talking about it, I might as well throw it out there. I do wonder, is he going to tell teams that he wants to be a receiver for the money aspect of things? Because if I was him and I was confident enough that I was close to as good as a receiver as I am a corner, monetarily it makes way more sense to be primarily a receiver. But I do think teams will tell him like, hey, not saying you're not going to play receiver, but maybe don't worry about the money that much because you're going to be playing both ways. You're going to get paid a lot of money anyway. Just do this because it's better for your career. I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean he could always start out as a primarily a corner, and then all of a sudden at receiver he's catching 8 to 10 balls a game, and you're like, oh, he turns out he's actually our best wide receiver.
Yeah, maybe. So that'll be an interesting conversation once we get to that point. But let's go ahead and get this started. So, you were right. You were right. And guess who's still on the board?
Wow.
I mean,
so if he falls, like honestly, I would take, if I don't need a quarterback, I'm taking Travis Hunter if he's on the board.
Yes, and I think the Panthers can confidently say for now that they do not need a quarterback with the way Bryce has played down the stretch.
Bryce Young supremacy.
Exactly. So this might be a little bit unrealistic, but hey, they're giving it to us.
This would be an insane way for this to work out for the Panthers.
Maybe the only scenario I can see this happening is like, well, the Patriots fell in love with McMillan. Guys, other teams need quarterbacks. The Giants don't want to play with that for some reason. They want a guy up front, and the Jaguars are the Jaguars. That's kind of my explanation for that. We saw the Jaguars take a player not as good before.
Yeah. If it falls this way, there's 3 GMs that should be getting fired.
Yeah, I would say at least 3. Yeah, for sure. I could argue 4 just because as much as the Browns need a quarterback, maybe they don't need that quarterback, considering their situation and some of the issues they might have on the offensive line. But whatever, that's beside, at least it's a quarterback. But I think we, just for the sake of this, we kind of have to just go ahead and put the card in for Hunter, right? Yeah. Let's just, we got to do it. Okay, so so Starks goes up at 7. Wow, to the Jets. Goodness gracious. All right. Abdul Carter goes to your Raiders, guys. So Crosby and Carter would be hellish to go against.
I don't mind that at all.
Goodness gracious. I mean, Genti would have been fun, but holy crap.
Get a compensatory pick for Malcolm Kuntz then?
Yeah, probably.
I don't hate that.
Okay, and then first offensive line off the board with Will Campbell to the Bears makes a ton of sense. So now we're up with the Saints. And they got guard and defensive line as their needs. Just throwing that out there. Don't think I'm taking a primary guard here at 10. Defensive line in general, we could definitely look at some edge guys here. Scorton's up the board in this situation. Jalen Walker would be fun. It's kind of like a hybrid player for them. Makes some sense, I would say. Where are you guys thinking with this one right now?
I don't mind that. Sorry. So I also, how do you guys feel about one thing? Like, I know he looked good to start the year at tackle, but kind of had some growing pains, and both tackles haven't been perfect this year. Between Fuaga and Penning, how would you guys feel about adding a tackle and just upgrading your guard position by moving somebody like Fuaga or even Penning to guard?
I like that.
I do like that too. That was something I wanted to bring up because I am starting to kind of, and we won't talk about tackles for a while, but Banks is starting to grow on me more and more the more I watch him. And I do think that he's going to be a really good tackle in the league. So you could take a guy like him and slot him in at left tackle and move Penning down inside, or Fuaga down inside, whoever you want to do. I think Fuaga is a better fit to come down inside because I think he would be potentially an all-pro at guard, honestly, which is kind of why I was not sure where to draft him last year because I'm like, I think he can be a fine tackle, but he might be an awesome guard. So it's like, how early do you take that? This would give you a chance to maybe do that.
Yeah. I also don't mind, either Banks or I don't mind Ursary here.
Yeah,
possibly.
Ursary is good for sure too.
And I think Ursary and Fuaga, basically, you've got a great left side of that line.
That's true. Yeah, you won't have to worry about that probably for a long time. The one other name I want to throw out there, and this is just because I feel like there's a little bit of uncertainty with Chris Olave health-wise. The concussion's been an issue. If you're stuck with Carr for a bit still, I don't really know what the situation is there. Do you maybe take a Luther Burden to add some juice? because you do have a lot of injuries at wide receiver. You had him this year. Some of them might linger into next year. Like, that's something to consider too. But I think this team needs to build up their trenches for sure, one way or the other.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know
I
if
think-
Burton brings that much to the table that MVS isn't already kind of doing for them, which is crazy.
Apparently. Which, hey, good for them, I guess.
Breakout season MVS.
Breakout MVS season in 2024.
Burton would be a fun pick, but I think it should definitely be.
Yeah, I think he would be more of a
Line.
luxury pick is the problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the decision's probably between either just tackle or edge is probably what we're looking at here. So
Yeah.
where do you guys kind of feel most confident with pick 10 here?
Yeah, I'd be okay with a tackle. I also don't mind Scorton here.
He's their type for sure.
Spots.
Yeah, and he's definitely their type as like a power edge player for sure too. So I think he'd be somebody that'd be interested in.
To Jordan too.
Jordan for sure. They need it. Jordan does not have the juice anymore, man, as a pass rusher. No. Sorry to break it to him. He probably should be moving on, but whatever.
Yeah, and Scorton's fun.
He is fun. He's very fun.
Like, I do like that tape a lot.
Yeah,
but I'm also very worried he just turns out to be Tyreek Wilson.
There is the potential of that, but I think he has a little bit more to him as a pass rusher now.
I agree.
Than Wilson ever had as an actual college player specifically.
I agree.
So I'm less worried about that being the potential outcome for him, but either way, I get that though. Where do you think you sit at, Jake?
I would probably go Banks here.
Okay.
But I do like Scorton as well. I think that would be a pretty fun pick.
So I guess I'm kind of the tiebreaker here. I think for the sake of the future of the franchise, frankly, whoever it's going to be, because it will not be Derek Carr, of course, I think I'm going to go Banks here. I think having an offensive line built up over the next couple of years for whoever's going to be the quarterback long term, who unfortunately for Spencer Rattler, I do not think it's him. I don't think it's anyone on the roster. So having that offensive line figured out with some of the issues they've had would probably be the best thing they can do. So I'll go with Banks here at 10.
Yeah. And the more I think about it too, the more I think about it, like, you can upgrade at tackle over Fuaga in the first round of this draft. I don't know if you can in the second round, but you can get a D lineman or edge rusher that's going to start for you in this draft, or at least on the Saints in round 2.
Probably. Yeah, I think that's probably the case. Because Fuaga, again, I do think he's a good tackle, but I think he's just a better guard potentially.
Yeah.
So this allows you to and this allows you to kind of upgrade 2 spots at the same time potentially, right?
Yeah.
So that's the idea, I think, there. So had some more guys come off the board. They're interesting. Igbuka to the Niners, man, they're just loading up on receivers in the first round. I mean, they're probably letting Samuel. Yeah, they're probably letting Samuel go. So like, that's not the craziest thing in the world. Genty to the Colts.
Interesting.
What?
Yeah. So that's fun. I guess Jonathan Taylor's like, what if I requested a trade out of here?
Fair.
I guess
that's
not
winning anytime soon.
Yeah, I guess that's the move there. And then we have 2 tackles, Josh Simmons, the Cowboys. Makes some sense because I don't think the experiments with the Oklahoma kid is working out so well. Plus, right tackle's a disaster too. So either way, that makes some sense to me, I think. Ursary to the Cardinals, again, also tackles, the big thing. Jalen Walker to the Dolphins is fun. Could do maybe some of the Van Ginkel stuff that they probably wish they had right now instead of it being on the Vikings, which I'm sure they are excited that happened. And then Burden to the Bengals, potential, not T. Higgins replacement skill set wise, but just receiver replacement. Makes some sense potentially. Although I think they should turn the card in for the best defensive player and give it up. Just go from there. But, whatever.
No, just keep adding to the offense.
Imagine drafting defense.
Yeah, that's true.
One more receiver.
One more receiver.
We solve all their problems.
We just need more weapons. More places
Joe
for
Burrow
Joe Burrow to go.
To throw 5 touchdown passes a game instead of 4.
And we'll be good. And we'll be good. Yeah, we'll have no problem. No, so we got the Falcons on the board here at 17. Scoring's still on the board. That's a fun one for sure. I do think defensive line is a huge problem for them still. They need some form of pass rush, and they've gotten it a little bit more recently, but it's been more manufactured than anything else. They're not having guys win up front consistently one-on-one. They're not like they don't have a dominant force there. So I think that's definitely where we probably want to look at. You got Scorton still on the board, like we talked about earlier. Mikel Williams, interesting guy. Shamar Stewart, also an interesting edge type player there. Could kind of play a couple different roles, I think, for them. Is that where you guys are thinking too, or is there any other positions you want to kind of look at here?
Yeah, I like the idea of a guy they can move around because, like you said, I think they need somebody that they can get to win on a regular basis. And I think Raheem Morris has shown like he knows how to like manufacture passers. So a guy that I think that he can move around would be good. And I'm good with either Scorton or Williams because they are both guys that you can move around to a lot of different spots.
Yeah, I think Williams is more of that like guy who can stand up over the center, do some of that type of stuff. Scorton more of like inside out type of player. So either one, I think would be a good fit. I think Scorton is going to end up being higher for me ultimately, and we won't get to edge rankings for a while. So I think that's probably where I'd go in that situation. But what do you think, Jake?
Yeah, I agree. I would like Williams as well, but I think for me, Scorton would be the first choice here.
Yeah, and he honestly, like, I think with him what's nice is I'm pretty confident that even if he doesn't end up developing into like an all-around edge rusher, his power is going to play, I think, at the next level. And they need something they can rely on to consistently get pressure, and I think that would be a good fit. So let's throw Scorton to the Falcons. Fun pick. And now we got Benjamin Morrison to the Seahawks, so they just keep loading up at corner. Wyatt Milan to the Texans. They need help on the offensive line. I don't know necessarily tackle, but guard for sure. Maybe they can move somebody down to guard. And Broncos take Mikel Williams, help out with that edge room. Okay, so we got the Bucs up here now. They also kind of need help on the interior of the offensive or defensive line and edge a little bit too, I still think. I forget. I want to say the name. He's the Louisville kid. Yaya Diaby's been very good for them this year, so you have somebody there that you kind of can rely on a little bit, but not much else super reliable other than Vita Vea on the defensive line and him, so that could be a definitely good fit. They have tight end as a need, but K. Dalton has been good, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
was a little confused about that.
I mean, he's not all world or anything, but I don't know if they probably have bigger needs than that. And then corner definitely has been a bit of a roller coaster because of injuries and other things. But Zion McCollum holding it down, but other than that, it's kind of iffy there.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Morrison still here.
Yes, that would have been
with
nice.
him off the board, I know tight end's not a huge need for them, but a guy that
some good ones on the board.
Not high on that I actually like a lot here because Baker Mayfield, we saw it. Production dropped off when Mike Evans was out big time.
Yes.
They I think need another safety blanket in the pass game with how much they rely on Baker to generate offense. I wouldn't hate Tyler Warren here. I think a weapon like that would do a lot, and I think a lot of GMs have seen what Brock Bowers is doing this year and thinking if we get an athlete that's just 250, 260 and can run, we can do a lot. And I think he would add a lot of juice to that offense personally, but I get they have other needs. But I don't know. I think he's the best player available right now on this board, personally.
I haven't watched as much of him as I'm assuming you guys have. Is he a player that can move around a bit in a similar way to Bowers? Like
listen. It's easier to name a position Tyler Warren hasn't played on offense this year than it is that he has.
In that case, I do like him to Tampa Bay.
So, just saying, that's something that's definitely fair to say.
Imagine Brock Bowers at 260. It's literally
kind of plays. It's kind of how he plays, man. I will say with Warren, he is a little bit higher on their board nowadays. Dalton, so he's only down at like 28 instead of like 50 something. So they people are coming around. They know, Mackey Award winner. Despite people pining for Harold Finn Jr., which I get, big fan myself of him, but talking about a Big Ten tight end that broke all sorts of records and plays 8 positions on offense, kind of hard to beat that. But I like that idea for sure. I could see corner definitely, like I said, is a big thing for me. I could see them looking for that, but I don't love the corners in this range. Like Siobhan Ravel would be very fun and be a good fit for like what they want to do on the outside at corner. But there's some uncertainty with the injury. Like, we're not going to get to see him during the All-Star circuit, I don't believe at all. So that kind of muddies the water with him a little bit. Trey Amos is a big people have. He has a lot of fans, definitely in the community. Janae Barron had a huge season, but like I still wonder, is he more of a slot player in the NFL? Despite having a great season on the outside at Texas, I'm not really sure about that yet. So I'm kind of on board with the Tyler Warren pick. Like, it would be maybe a little bit of a luxury pick, but this team is currently winning the division. So like maybe you can do that a little bit.
And you could argue the only reason they haven't already locked it up is the lack of weapons when they had injuries on offense.
That is true. And again, Cade Otton has had a great season, but he's Cade Otton. That's kind of what I would say. Like, not spectacular, not this like difference maker. He's just been very good, reliable, which is great. But Warren would certainly be a difference maker compared to him, and also to most of the depth they have on the offense. Also, got to wonder, Chris Godwin, I think, will be back with them, but some team might pay him a lot of money to leave. That's very possible. And I like Warren more than I like the receivers in this range. So, is that kind of what do you think is where we want to go here, guys?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, let's go. Tyler Warren, first tight end off the board for us. So let's jump down to all the way down to 42, because I think the Panthers' second round pick is owned
Dylan
by
Gabriel to the Raiders. Look at that.
Whoa!
Ew.
Whoa!
If Dylan Gabriel goes in the top 40, someone should be fired.
Whoa!
Telesco master.
The Raiders would draft a barely 6 foot quarterback that can't run.
That is
overall.
Incredible. You love to see it. I got to see some more. Okay, let's just kind of go down the list here.
Steelers
Colson Loveland, Siobhan Ravel, love that for the Steelers. Of course, Colson Loveland goes to the Chargers. No surprise there. Kenneth Grant to the Rams to beef up that tier even more. That's a hell of a thing. Quinshawn Judkins to the Packers for whenever I guess Josh Jacobs doesn't play anymore. I don't know. Cameron Williams, Washington makes Amarian Hampton to the Ravens to be Derrick Henry's long-term replacement. Oh no, I don't like that as a Steelers fan. I don't love that, guys.
Every time Henry's a little tired, you just send Hampton out there.
Just to destroy the defense. Tyleik Williams makes some sense there. Edge, James Pierce for the Bills, good speed rusher there. Receiver, Elick Iomanner for the Lions. TJ Sanders for the middle of that defense for the Vikings makes a lot of sense. Hey, obligatory first-round running back pick for the Chiefs at 32 that probably won't work out, but no one cares. Caleb Johnson. Good for him. Gray Zabel at 33 to the Patriots. Woo-wee. That is I mean, he's got some love, but like that feels like taking what's his face at like pick 20 something that they drafted out of like the FCS or whatever a couple years ago. I forget his name is the guard, and everybody was like, "Whoa, I had that dude in the '90s." It's like, what? I don't know. Walter Nolan's gotten a lot of love from Mississippi, from Ole Miss here. Titans make sense. Oh, two Mississippi players back to back. Janae Barron to the Giants like that. Ashton Gillette, I haven't watched him yet, so I'm not sure how I feel about that. But the Jaguars still do need edge help despite taking one first overall. That's sort of okay. Then we're we're up here. So Saints up here. So we went, and we can actually see now, which is good. So the Saints took Banks. Obviously, we took Banks in the first round. So Landon Jackson sitting here makes a lot of sense to me. Big-bodied edge again, that type that they like. So that immediately stands out. Jack Sawyer's also a type that they would like. Really, the Ohio State edge rushers are the types they would like. What are you guys thinking with this, you think?
Yeah, it's tricky.
Any position you want me to throw up on the board, look at?
I feel like defense in general is kind of what they need right now.
So, like, if you throw edge, we can throw defensive interior up too. Again, it's Landon Jackson, Sawyer, Tui Maloau, Kyle Kennard, Donovan Ezraku, which is a fun player, but not really the Saints type of player at all, I would say. Mike Green, got a lot of love, I know, going on. So those types of guys here.
I don't know. I felt like the fit on Green.
Yeah, he's also still not their type, which not saying they shouldn't be his that he shouldn't be their type, but he's not.
TJ Sanders is off the board, I'm assuming.
Yes, he went to where is he at? Up here to Vikings at 31. Yeah,
Love that for them.
yeah, that's a good pick. Landon Jackson's kind of keeps staring me in the face. Just
I was
a
gonna
big
say,
bodied edge that
yeah.
they would like. Ton of power to his game. Makes a lot of sense to that.
Yeah.
Or again, a guy like Sawyer is more of like that high floor type of guy, could be helpful to them, but they don't really have anybody on the edge that really scares you though. Unfortunately,
Somebody like that.
I think Jackson could potentially do that at least.
Yeah.
So,
I like Jackson here.
okay, let's throw Jackson up here. Okay, so Falcons at 49. Another tight end with Gunnar Helm. Hey, big fast receiver, Savion Williams to the Dolphins. Hey, if we have too many guys to cover, you can't get to Tua fast enough, right? You can't knock his head in if you can't get to him fast enough. Who gives a shit?
If we go 9 wide,
If we go 9 wide,
can't rush the passer.
can't rush passer when you can't cover anybody. Also, the Colts have taken 2 running backs. I think we broke PFF's mock draft, guys. I apologize. I believe we broke it. They took Travion Henderson at 44. So they have.
They have the best running back room of all time.
They have the greatest running back room of all time. That's what we've done.
They're
With
just
that
never
Shannon
going to let
Richardson,
Anthony
you're about to
Richardson
see, like-
throw the ball.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say it's about to be like 5 pass attempts per game.
This is like if they were like, we promise to never put the ball in the air again unless it's 50 yards down the field. Like that's what this draft is telling us, and like maybe
Alex
that's
Harrison's
okay.
The only receiver on the roster.
Yeah,
And
maybe
he has
that's
one
okay. I don't know, but hey, you know what? Good for the Colts, man. I don't know. Enjoy that, I guess, Colts fans. We did not do it on purpose. I apologize if you're concerned. So we have the Falcons here. Let me tell you something. Falcons secondary, specifically corner, has been a major issue lately. And I don't know if there's someone on the board that I like enough, but that's immediately what I thought of. Looks like a lot of the corners are gone at this point. Zy Alexander looks like the highest ranked on their board, at least. We'd have to look farther down to see if there's anybody else, but that's an issue for them. Linebacker is a need. I don't know, because like I think since Trey Anderson's been back, the linebacker group has played a lot better. He just kind of allows Ellis to play more free, I think, and has kind of helped that a lot. I think it's part of why the pass rush has been better too, because they can blitz more, and it doesn't completely ruin the defense. So like I'm not sure where I'd go with the Falcons. What do you guys think?
I don't hate Sawyer here just to give them another just solid defensive player.
Yeah, you go like the more like really true like high end power with Scorton, and then a guy who can kind of do a little bit of everything with Sawyer back to back and really rebuild this defensive line. So that's fun for sure.
And Sawyer can like for sure play on the edge.
Yes.
Whereas Scorton, you're still not sure where exactly you're going to put him.
Yeah,
And, like they just need to make that defense a lot better because
they do.
They're not going to score a lot of points as long
But
as
Jalen Miller. Hey, you can never have too many quarterbacks. Am I right?
Of all time. If they
Am
did
I
that.
right? Am I right?
They have to sign Sam Darnold before.
They should. They should sign Sam Darnold
before the draft, and then draft Miller.
Yeah, and then they'd have the weirdest quarterback room of all. Not the greatest, the weirdest quarterback room of all time. You have one dude who plays completely differently than the other guy, who plays completely different than the other guy. No one knows what's going on. You put him. I think you just roll dice and play whichever one comes up that drive, and just let the defense try to figure it out. But no, we're not gonna do that. Sawyer does make a lot of sense. I do think too. I would also argue maybe because Xavier Watts is staring me in the face as a playmaking safety, because I know Simmons was he on a 1-year deal, or did he sign a multi-year contract for them? Do we know?
I think it was a 1 year.
Yeah, I think he's still on his either on his rookie deal or like a small extension.
Justin Simmons? I don't think. Because he's where's I can pull up his contract, because I'm curious about that. Because if his contract's up, he's been good for them for sure, but could get a little bit cheaper and more of a playmaking safety. Yeah, it was a 1-year deal, so next year's a void year. Yeah. So that could also be an option too, but I do like the Sawyer idea though too.
Yeah. Or if you wanted
Yeah,
to
I
go
like Troy as
pure
well.
speed on the edge, you go Mike Green and really
Yeah.
just get the thunder and lightning combo going.
That's also I like that too. Really, Ezraku and Green are both that type of player. I think Green
Yeah.
is definitely more of a like prototype size and build, so it's probably safer bet to go with him. But that
Green's
type of edge,
production
definitely.
is,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I mean, he's
17
Marshall, but
sacks
hey,
doesn't lie.
yeah, Marshall, but hey,
I
still
don't care
FBS
where
football,
you're
man.
doing it.
Yeah, 17 sacks is pretty sick. Yeah, you could do that in Pee Wee football. You're still doing pretty
Anywhere in
good.
Division One football in 12 games.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm sold on Green here because he's been getting hype as a potential first rounder for the Tools. So like, no reason not to take him at 49 if you think that's potentially the case. So
I don't
guys
really
good
think
bet?
this is super high for him at all. to be
No,
honest.
it's definitely not. At least not based on like the initial kind of
I like Green.
reports on that. All right, let's throw him on the
It'd be a
board. So
fun
Falcons
draft for their defensive line.
Yeah, the Falcons just like we may not be good at rushing the passer, but it ain't going to be from not trying. Let me put it that way. So give them that much. Bucks up at 53 now. So we took the tight end with Tyler Warren first. Now this could be
Sawyer.
potentially a Sawyer fit too,
Yeah.
for sure. Man,
Especially for the Bulls scheme. I like that a lot.
Yeah, because right now, like Diaby's that like twitched up, freaky type of edge rusher for them who has played very well. They don't really have that like counterbalance to that, I don't think, because Joe Tronishenko has just not been worth the first round pick that they used on him, and no one else in that group has really taken off either. So, got to get some more just kind of stability there. I do like that pick too.
Yeah.
What do you think,
I'm
Jake?
go with that.
I like that.
Okay, let's throw it on the board. Okay. Now we got the Panthers back up here. So again, we took Travis Hunter because he was at 6, which is awesome. We love that for the hey. You know what? The Panthers could really use a bone thrown their way, and what a bone it would be. Pause. If Travis Hunter was the pick there at 6, that'd be great. But now up at 55 now instead. What are we thinking here?
Yeah. I mean, you don't need a receiver, I don't think, at this point.
I think you go to free agency to look for like a big name receiver to join that group. I don't think you keep drafting like mid round guys unless it's just the best player on the board.
Especially, I think, because you probably bring Thielen back.
At this point, he's still on the team. I think they can't really get rid of him without taking a cap hit still, weirdly enough. So he's probably back anyway, but he's also playing well. So it's like
Better downs would be fun with Travis Hunter and Adam Thielen.
Yes. Good luck with that. They need defense so bad, and Hunter helps with the defense, obviously, because you're expecting him to play corner a lot of the time. But you have some guys on the board like Omar Norman Lott you can play next to names escaping me right now, but the defensive tackle that's hurt for them right now. What's his name? You guys know who I'm talking about.
Ricky Pearsall
Ricky Pearsall is not playing. No, I was kidding. Wait, what happened, Jake?
He just got a. We were talking about him getting a deep shot down the field before the podcast. He just got one.
Nice. Good for him. Well, it's a good shot to take instead of the one that. Okay. Anyway, moving on. I think that he would be a good fit. Man, they could just take another running back and have they could do the Colts plan, which is apparently draft all the running backs and pay one of them. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. This one's interesting because they need a lot of help on defense. Okay.
Not saying we should do this, but Jalen Milroe is still on the board. Are we sold on Bryce?
So I think the problem is, what do
I don't
you
know
think,
if
Jake?
I don't know if I'm not 100% sold on Bryce Young, but I don't know if Jalen Milroe is convincing me that I'm not sold on Bryce
that's where
specifically.
I'm at.
I could understand the QB, for the Panthers at some point in the draft, but I just don't know. For me, Milroe, I'm not looking at Milroe thinking he's going to be better for me than Young.
Yeah,
personally,
I agree. If he were a higher floor guy, I would feel a lot better about it. But I feel like Milroe.
It would be so funny if they. Sorry.
No, you're gonna just like the same chance, like you are with Young.
Yeah, it would be so funny if they did that, and then Bryce Young just went and balled out with another team. That would be.
I think for me, the Milrow thing, like I understand like the thought process because you take another shot on a quarterback, but don't have to use the draft capital as much to do it. I think the problem is like Milrow ultimately he's not a great backup quarterback to have for Bryce Young because does nothing the same as him, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like is not nearly the same player, which doesn't necessarily have to be the case, but it's nice if the scheme fit makes sense for both quarterbacks that could play. But also more importantly, I think that they're so opposite of each other that the fan base will probably, the second Bryce Young isn't playing great, will want to see Milrow. And I don't think that's good for him or for Bryce. Like, I don't think you want to put somebody behind him that's clearly behind him now, and then also is way more physically gifted because teams are like fans are going to want to see that guy, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like that's the other thing. So you have to think about that type of stuff. I think with a
I
quarterback pick like that.
Yeah, I
Bryce
just want
Young
to throw it
seems to
out
be
there.
a very
agree.
confidence-dependent quarterback.
Yes, he's
So I
gotten his
think it'll
confidence
be like
back.
that.
You don't want to shake that if you don't have to.
I
Right.
agree.
But good point though. I still think because that makes some sense. I'm kind of sitting just looking at the board, like. I mean, Kevin Winston. I know he missed most of the season, but like he stared me in the face a little bit. They need safety help. They need help across the board on defense. That would be kind of a nice pick, I think, too. The offensive line's been really good, so I'm not super worried about that. I'm kind of between Omar Norman Lotz and someone in this range that still plays defense, like maybe an Alfred Collins, maybe Kevin Winston Jr. Not sure about Alexander at this point, but like someone like that. So, what are you guys thinking here?
Honestly, I'm pretty happy with kind of any defensive player here.
Yeah.
I think at this point I'm just going any capable defensive player with a high ceiling.
Yeah. Any Texas
Welcome to
D
Carolina.
lineman or Winston, whatever you guys think they need more. It's hard to say. I kind of almost want to go Winston here just because you at least have, I mean, assuming, you'll have Brooks back next year.
Yes, should. I like Winston here too because I think they need somebody to help kind of corral things on the back end, and that's what Winston is the best at is his tackling consistency. Like he does not miss tackles. He just does not when he's been healthy. So I think that would be really good. And he also has the athleticism to play in the back end and cover. So I would like that. Plus you get him at a discount because I think because of his injury he's going to get pushed down the board, but not because he shouldn't go higher, but just how things go.
Yeah, probably would have been a top 40 guy minimum.
Yeah,
without the
which as a
injury.
safety is really good, obviously. So,
Yeah.
But you good with that, Jake?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, cool. Kevin Winston Jr. off the board, and we have another Panthers pick up next. All right, so Milrow goes to the Giants. By the way,
Kind of like that for them.
I
Who did
do
they
too.
They take in the first round in this.
I can tell you, it is Mason Graham,
Okay.
and then they took Jahdae Barron. Good draft, I would
Yeah, I
say.
don't mind that at
Yeah,
all.
actually.
Now, would the Giants take Jalen Milrow? No.
No.
I don't think so. And
No,
there's a reason for
honestly-
it. There's a reason for it, guys. Can you throw in the chat if you're listening what the reason might be? Anyway, moving on to the Panthers pick here. I think at this point we've addressed corner and receiver at the same time, right? We addressed safety, so again more defense. Now I think you're looking at maybe somebody like I haven't watched him yet, but I know a lot of people like Chris Paul Jr., which is not Chris Paul's son, by the way, just so everyone knows. I thought that
Chris Paul's son was a
I
linebacker.
thought that for a second. When you think about it, Chris Paul is 6 foot tall. He's not short. He's just short for the NBA.
Yeah, you know what? You're right.
So would it be that weird? I don't know. But no, he's not his son.
Here.
That would be fun, for sure. Another linebacker pick for sure. That could be good. I wanted to see what do we have left. At probably not much left at edge, huh? Tyler Barron, Quandarius Robinson. Yeah, not denied Dennis Sutton. But yeah, edge isn't looking that great right now. Yeah, I feel like Bossa would be a good fit for sure. I think with Shaq Thompson, I don't think coming back at this point, the injury last year, and he's I think 31 or 32 now. Could definitely and Josie Jewell, sorry, buddy, but No.
The outlaw.
Yeah. I'm not really a modern linebacker.
No.
Probably could use some more bodies in that group. I'd be okay with Boss. I think he's the guy that I've seen the most of in the linebacker group that's left. So I'd feel more confident with him. But what do you think, Jake?
Yeah, honestly, I haven't really watched much of the linebackers yet.
Yeah,
so-
unfortunately, I feel like we're gonna not love watching the linebackers when we do, in general. So we'll see about that. But yeah, it's
I'm cool with that though. This would be a really good defensive draft for Carolina.
it would. You get a starting outside corner, you get a starting safety, and a potentially, maybe not right away, but eventually starting linebacker in your first 3 picks. Can't really complain about that too much.
Yeah.
Okay, let's throw a Boss on the board. We got the Saints coming back up here, 74, and just to remind us again, we have Kelvin Banks, Landon Jackson so far. So, looking at the board here, so we do have Tyler Booker staring us in the face. Now, we do have the assumption that with the Banks pick, that one of the tackles are going to move inside. And I forget who the other starting guard would be projected to be right now for the Saints. If we were to, I'd have to pull that up. But he's staring me at the like. Go ahead.
Couldn't hurt. Like
No, it
another
couldn't. But I just want to make sure
lineman.
because right now we got Cesar Ruiz would be, I think, the other guard, which he's been not so great.
No.
But I think he's on a decent deal because every Saints player is on a decent contract because that's what they do.
Yeah.
So that becomes problematic about whether you'd be able to move him or whether they'd want to move him.
Yeah. Well, they also had an injury, right? Did they have a guard or tackle? Did they have somebody go down?
That's true. They had where's he at? Lucas Patrick went down.
That's right. Yeah.
So maybe because
Was he the center or the guard?
Yeah, I think he normally plays center for them, does he not?
Yeah.
Or am I making that up potentially?
I forget.
The Saints is hard to keep track, man.
But I remember as soon as he got hurt, that's when like the Saints collapsed.
True.
It was weird.
Oh, Eric McCoy is their starting center. I forgot.
Yeah,
he got hurt. He got hurt a long time ago. So yeah, Ruiz has been the guy who's been disappointing at guard for them, I'd say, in his career so far. So guard again could make sense. Looking at safety, I see Lathan Ransom sitting on the board there from Ohio State. Will Harrison, Tyrann Mathieu getting older. Jordan Howden's had his moments with them, I would say, as a 5th-round pick. But Will Harrison, Tyrann Mathieu at this point, especially Tyrann Mathieu, probably not returning. I think he's a free agent after the season. Safety could make some sense too, considering we already made a pick that could address the interior by default. What are you guys thinking here, though?
Yeah. Defense. I mean, we've added a little defense. We've helped the offensive line, added something to the front 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could definitely add to the secondary. I also even when the wide receivers were all healthy, that wide receiver room wasn't great.
No, it was not.
I see Tez Johnson there. That could be a fun ad because he's been a very reliable, high volume target at Oregon. That's a guy that Derek Carr I could see feeding a lot in the NFL.
I also can see that as well. I see Nick Emanwari is very fun player that could fill linebacker / safety hybrid role as well, which would be fun. Not sure if he's a great fit for what I want the Saints or what the Saints typically do, but he's somebody to keep in mind as well for this type of spot.
We could also go BPA here, and Harold Fannin Jr. would be everything Juwan Johnson has failed to be.
That is a good point, and would definitely be a Saints player.
Yep,
I would say,
and would be very similar to Darren Waller, who Carr had a lot of success with.
That's true. I'll just throw in they have Bashal Tootin at 89, which God bless him. Anyway, I think Harold Fannin Jr. would be the most fun pick here, I would say. So I'm down with it, personally. They do need more firepower for whatever this offense is going to be, which is the answer is weird and somewhat bad, probably.
And Juwan Johnson is just not it. He
will have his moments, man, and then I'm like, where'd you go?
Yeah.
What are you doing out there? But yeah, I'm good
Yeah, I
with
like
that. What do
that.
you think, Jake?
I like that.
Okay, you like that? Let's throw Howard Fannin Jr. in there. Love that. Bucks back up to refresh. We have Tyler Warren and Jack Sawyer, two Big Ten standouts on the team. Should we add another? Is there another one we can get? No. I so we've addressed tight end, we've addressed edge. I don't know how I feel about Zy Alexander. I've watched a little bit of him, and I'm intrigued, but I don't love the athleticism on tape.
I
I
don't think
don't
this is
know
a
how good of an
bad
athlete
spot
he
to
is.
take them, though.
No, but I don't know if he's a fit for what they want to do.
Yeah.
That's kind of my question with him. And if we look at the other corners in this group that we have left, haven't watched. Full disclosure, have not gotten this far down the board with the corners. I've only barely watched a little bit of Alexander. Couldn't tell you much about anyone else I'm looking at here. So, that's kind of a shot in the dark at corner. Just looking at the board in general here. I mean, Derek Harmon's had a hell of a year for Oregon. Now they have two guys that are going to be playing a lot of the snaps on the defensive tier with Vita Vea and Kalijah Cansey already. But Cansey's had some injury stuff, so maybe you want to kind of have more guys in that group. But he's a fun guy for sure. You like the tackles, so I don't think you need to look at tackle at all. Makuba's been a good safety for Texas, but I don't really think safety is the biggest need for them at this point. Have some guys who can do a little bit of everything at safety, I think, for them. Will Howard at 95. Woo. That's fun. Riley Leonard. Hey. We love it. No. No. What are you guys thinking with this? I'm looking at Derek Harmon right now and kind of being like, that'd be fun.
Wouldn't mind Harmon.
Yeah. I just don't know enough about the corners in this class.
Right. Yeah. Not yet, at least. Yeah.
Because I do think corners probably what they need here, but I just don't know if this is the spot.
What I've seen of Dalen Everett does not make me think that he's top 100 player in the class, but I don't know that yet, so we'll see. So I'll just throw that out there because I see him here. Yeah. I think I default to we could just take Alexander as a corner placeholder because I don't know that he shouldn't go this high necessarily. Yeah. I'm a little bit questioning the movement skills is all. I think technique wise, really good player, but I don't know how well he holds up in this type of system that's aggressive like that. But maybe he's fine. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as you two in terms of not watching as much of the cornerbacks yet. But from what I've seen people talking about Alexander, I don't think this would be a bad spot to take him at all.
Yeah.
At least a spot in the draft. Maybe not the Bucks per se, but
whether he's exactly the Bucks fit, I'm not 100% sure on. But I do know that they could use help at cornerback, and this wouldn't be a bad spot to take him. So that's kind of where I'm at.
What do you think, Dalton?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, let's do that.
I think Bowles can make it work, too.
He could, yeah, for sure. Got the Saints up at 90 now. So we're almost to the end of this. I think this actually might be, this is our last pick with the NFC South. So last one with the Saints. Let's take a look at this here. Again, we already have Kelvin Banks Jr., we have Landon Jackson and Harold Fannin Jr. I think that Saints fans should be happy about that if that were to happen at this point. Would they? I don't know what makes Saints fans happy, guys. That's a good question. What do they want?
Maybe winning more than 9 games.
Or losing more than 6 games.
Yeah.
Stop doing this thing that they do, which is we're shooting for that 9th win every year. And it's should you?
Yeah. That's the entire division, though.
You're right. We talked about it with the Falcons, right? Yeah, right. We talked about it with the Falcons. Everything they did was we want to win 9 games this year, guys. We want to have a chance to win the division. And then it sort of worked, but didn't because Kirk Cousins, turns out, knees don't work. Knee at least don't work. Arm also sort of stopped working a little bit, maybe because the knee don't work. Oh, good thing we drafted this 24-year-old quarterback that may potentially have not played for 3 years if this worked out the way we wanted to. Let's throw him in there. Oh, no, it looks better? Who knew? I don't know. Whatever. But, yeah, the Saints, I don't know what makes Saints fans happy. What would make them happy?
I don't
If you're a
mind
Saints
Hart-
fan, comment down below.
Look at the
Anyway.
okay, just for shits and giggles. Can you go to the quarterbacks?
For sure. Will Howard, staring you right in the face. Carson Beck, Kyle McCord, Max Brosmer, shout out Minnesota, Cade Klubnik down 191,
Diego
I think-
Pavia 155.
Tyler Schuff.
I don't think. I
Oh,
could
here's
take
Mark
any other
Gronowski.
quarterback.
He is on here, by the way, guys. Get this
Look
man off the board, by the way. His ADP is 86.
I was about to say that. That's insane.
Is this counting from last year moving forward?
Or is that as a tight end?
Maybe as a tight end. KJ Jefferson not playing for UCF, I don't think. Didn't he lose his job or something or get hurt? I don't know. Donovan Smith, I know, did not play well this year. Brady Cook.
We could make our commenters wish come true
Jackson
and
Dart
say
getting way
Gronkowski.
too much hate.
What's up?
Jackson Dart is getting, I think, a little too much hate.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
really low. That's
I think
really
the
low.
problem is when you play for, what the hell is this face right now?
Lane Kiffin.
When you play for Lane Kiffin, you're kind of asking for it a little bit
Yeah, I
as a
agree.
quarterback. It's going to happen. It's not his fault. I have no idea if Jackson Dart sucks as a guy, but when you watch him play, you're like, man, that dude is really playing this offense. And after that, it's kind of rough to watch when it's not going that well.
Yeah,
So, I don't know.
he just needs to be in a pure West Coast system in the NFL.
He does. He at least has tools. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
He
He just-
definitely has the tools.
Just don't ask him to throw the ball more than 40 yards down the field. Or even 40.
Mm-mm. We're not going to do this, but since we're going through this pretty quickly, what's the funniest pick we could make? I would say Diego Pavia, while he's currently trying to get another year to play at Vanderbilt, would be really funny. Because I'm assuming we're going to know that it might already have happened. I don't know if he got his year or not. But also, I heard that Kyle McCord is also trying to get an extra year in college. Which,
Why?
first of all, not even from a
He
draft
looks like he was
perspective,
having fun at Syracuse.
maybe. But let's not even talk about that. He has no basis for this. He didn't go to a JUCO school. He went to Ohio State right away. Played in over 4 games the first 3 years each time. So he's not like a redshirt, I don't even think. And he played his senior year at Syracuse. What justification does he have to keep playing college football?
No injuries either.
Right. No, there's
Right.
nothing there. Is he just man, I really like Syracuse? It's yeah, dude, I
Please
don't
let
know.
me stay.
COVID year?
Oh, no, I don't even know if it is a COVID year to him. Because wouldn't it have been 2021, 22, and 23? And then this year, 24?
Yeah.
Or is 21 also a COVID year? I don't know.
21 might
Still
be
count?
depend.
But then he wouldn't have to petition for another year then if it was a COVID year.
Yeah, you're right.
So he wouldn't have to petition for one. All I'm saying is Kyle McCord,
He's just saying please.
just go get drafted by the Giants. That's what's going to happen. It's okay. You won't even have Syracuse isn't going to be that far. You could go back. You can go to the games.
And it'll probably be a
Saturdays.
day 2 pick.
Yeah, you'll be picked I don't know, what was their 3rd round pick? They have a 3rd round pick, right? Where you can go. You can be picked 60. You could be Jalen Monroe instead. You could be. And let's be honest. If you ask the Giants, if you went to Maryland, was like, hey, we got this kid Kyle McCord. He really sucked at Ohio State. Kind of had to leave, but he's real good at Syracuse. Threw a bunch of yards, bunch of touchdowns. He may have thrown a lot of interceptions, but that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Or you could take the super athlete from Alabama who does have some kinks to work out, but super talented. And then Mara, the whole time you were talking about, he saw pictures and he was like, "Oh, you don't have to keep talking. It's okay. I already know. I already know what I'm doing. It's fine." But thanks for the input, though. Good job. We're taking Kyle McCord at pick 68. It's fine. So yeah, you'll be close to Syracuse anyway, Kyle. It's okay. You don't have to try to we need somebody in this quarterback class, Kyle. Is what I'm getting at. Please come out. Because I'm not even saying you're that good, but we need enough to fill up a draft class.
He might legitimately be a top 5 quarterback in this class.
He might be. Who knows at this point? I certainly don't. I ended up defaulting to Riley Leonard at quarterback 4, and it's not because I love the guy. I don't know. Who knows at this point? Maybe he's gonna eat shit against Georgia on Tuesday or whatever day, or on Wednesday, and I'll look dumb. I don't know at this point.
Yeah.
Who cares?
He's my QB7 right now, and that's just because I haven't dropped
Ewers or Beck yet.
Yet is that's the key word there is yet. But no, let's look at what else we got here. We could look at receiver. Ooh. Evan Stewart is good like 30% of the time. What's up with that, you think, guys? Did you notice that? Like if you look at his like box scores, he's like good like 30% of the games he plays. It's like, what's that for? What's that about?
Yeah, receivers kind of picked over at this point.
I think Jalen Noel has some interesting slot receiver ability for sure.
Yeah,
But I mean, Pat Bryant, I want to like more than I do. But kind of like I think he's a limited outside receiver, so it's like I don't really love that. Kyron Lacey, I've seen a lot of people compare him to George Pickens, but I think just from an attitude perspective, not from a skill set perspective. So it's like I think that hurts your draft stock more than it helps you. I think
not the way you want to be compared to George Pickens.
you don't already want to be a diva in college.
So someone said that if the Steelers drafted Kyron Lacey, the league would have to shut down, not because they'd be so good, but because like they would probably kill somebody. Like the two of them would end up killing either each other or someone else on the team. I was
Mike Tomlin would be straight up babysitting every practice.
He would. He already does, though. To be honest with you, like it's kind of insane. Also, not to get off topic, but did you see that apparently Cam Hayward after the Chiefs game was like, it's hard to play defense when 10 of us are out here doing our job and one person isn't. And I was like, oh no.
There was a few Steelers players that weren't.
Yeah, it was definitely a team effort to get shellacked the way they were against the Chiefs.
Who was the one he was talking about?
My guess is either Cam Sutton or Patrick Queen, one of the two. My money's on Sutton, but that's because dude doesn't look good out there.
I don't know why. I don't know why Beanie Bishop doesn't get more.
It's because he's a rookie,
and he definitely
rookies are bad.
Definitely has his drawbacks, but Sutton is bad.
Rookies are bad, Jake. Don't you know? Yeah. Mike will tell you they're bad. They're not good. You can't play them until week 8 or
because
never.
The Steelers are one of those organizations that actually keeps players beyond their rookie year and like doesn't just get a new team every 3 years.
And also, like only like half the time it makes sense, right? Like half the time it's like, no, you should have cut that dude. Like Jarvis Jones should never been on the team after his like second year. Kind of a deep cut for those who don't watch the Steelers the last like 10 years closely, but that dude shouldn't have been on the team. They do that sometimes, but yeah, that's why he's not playing, Jake, because hey, Cam Sutton's a veteran and that's all that matters.
Tenure.
It doesn't matter that he's bad. It doesn't matter that he may or may not have avoided law enforcement for a period of time at one point this offseason. It's he has experience, man. Like Levi Wallace had a lot of experience getting turned into burnt toast. So, we're going to move on from that conversation. Anyway, receiver I don't love here. What can we look at here? Maybe potential future running back replacement for Alvin Kamara despite getting extended.
I don't mind back here.
Still don't know what's up with that extending.
Really mind running back either, actually.
Yeah, I don't like Henry Miller that much.
The Saints certainly don't like him either. Of the group here, the group confuses me.
So PFF has one guy way down on this board that probably hasn't gotten taken yet. Yeah, Nick Singleton is still here.
Wow,
I know
man. I thought I hated Nick Singleton. Holy shit. PFF really hates Nick Singleton. They look at him and they're like, get off my field, get out of my face. Damn, that's
wouldn't be a bad compliment to Kamara.
He would not. Okay, this man's name is Trevante Citizen.
Another.
It's a Madden-generated name when you go like 3 years into a franchise.
Marcus Yarns. Bet you he tells some good stories. What's up with Jaden Ott, by the way? Has anyone seen him? Has he been good? I feel like I heard a lot about him, and then he just didn't do anything, or am I wrong about that?
No.
He was close to being an honorable mention for me in our running back.
Okay, that's good to know.
In a
Cam
worst case,
Scadaboo.
he could be like maybe a running back like 10 for me or so.
Okay. Cam Scadaboo. Ranked
How-
100
how-
spots higher than Nick Singleton.
Yeah,
Sycamore,
as
what
big
are
of a
you
Scadaboo
doing?
fan as I am, that's pretty insane.
It's
What are you doing?
This could be the part of where we just
They're
make
just
fun of. This
going
should
off,
be a
like,
section we
Twitter
should just make fun of PFF for a
advice.
minute about
Yeah.
their rankings right now, because I do think this is the public board and their board mixed together a little bit. So it's like it's kind of weird. We didn't really say
I
anything
mean,
weird
there's
with
some rough
receivers.
ones.
I'm curious about. Let's go to safety here. Rod Moore went back to school. I'm like 90% sure, so ignore him. Upton Stout, come on, come on. Short and Stout over here. Is he short?
Here, good
Do they have
first look.
his? Oh, first look. Yeah, he is short. Hell yeah, we're right.
5'9". God.
Keon Sabb at 193. I thought he's been good this year. I don't know. Xavier Nwankpa. Hunter Wooler at 205 feels wrong, but I get it.
Yeah.
Get Shiloh Sanders off the board. What are we doing? What are we doing, guys?
I saw a mock draft on Twitter today for the Raiders, and someone took Shiloh Sanders in like the 4th round.
We like that. We like that. Also, 2 Vanderbilt safeties back to back. One of them named Dericki is phenomenal. I love that. It's incredible.
I think
Incredible
the
stuff.
Alabama defensive players in general are just hard to gauge because that defense has looked horrible this year.
You're correct. It is hard to separate them, I think, a little bit.
Like, who's like a legit NFL prospect? Like, who's the reason why that defense sucks? That's the key.
Okay. T. Ferg at 152. Terrence Ferguson, get out of here. Get him up higher. Isn't this the tight end that's like 72 years old?
Oh yeah, like an
Quaid
8th
or
year.
something like that.
I
Again,
think.
let's just Rivaldo Fairweather.
Yeah.
That's an auto-generated player, guys.
Oscar Delp not getting enough love either.
No, Bryson Nesbitt, I don't know what to do with because I didn't see him play this year, and I thought he was pretty good last year, so I don't know. But, Luke Lackey, tight end, Iowa tight end, draft him.
Yeah.
Just do it. Jackson Hawes is more of just a blocking tight end, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Receiver. This is a receiver here, guys. He's a receiver, dude. I hated watching McCord and seeing this dude's like, that's a wide receiver. What is he doing out there? It's a tight end. He's like 220 pounds at best, it looks like. Like, what is he doing? Cosplaying as a tight end every week, college, whatever.
Is he just slow? Is that the problem?
No, I don't know. I think he's wanted to play tight end so he could break records or something as a tight end because he's a receiver. I don't know. Where else we got here?
All right.
I'm familiar with some of these guys for sure. Okay. Whatever. Anyway.
Zeke Biggers.
Yeah, we love that. Aeneas Peebles. Tonka. All right, dude. Someone's parents are having too much fun. All right. They were like, "What are we naming your kid? What's that truck? They made that truck that you kids play with." Oh yeah, Tonka. I like that. Let's do that. No, for the Saints pick though. Let's get back to that. Derek.
Oh yeah,
Carmen
we're on the clock.
Derek Carmen. Listen, we've been on the clock. No one cares. I think Derek Carmen would be my pick, by the way.
Yeah.
So.
I'm fine with
I don't
that.
mind Harmon, yeah.
Let's see. Are they going to give us a grade? Oops, that play isn't our playbook yet. Oh. Mock draft assistant. You think that's a title there? Oh. No, I won't. I'm not doing that. Oh, that's right. It gives you just the first round. Whatever.
Wild top
Full
6.
results. Yeah. Yeah, the wild. Yeah. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Also,
Can you imagine if this is how it plays out? Like, if we're live and this is what happens, we're gonna lose our minds.
It's going to be an all-time moment. Also, Malachi Starks, as good as he is at 7 for the Jets, somehow the funniest pick here to me. Because, like, if you told me the Jets, after the season they had, the answer to the question of who their first-round pick is a safety, I'm pretty sure New York will burn to the ground. Like, it doesn't matter if the safety's good or not. I don't think you could take a safety with your first pick after what the Jets just did. You got to swing for some other position. But no, that'll do it for our three-round mock draft for the NFC South. I'm gonna mess with the simulator and see if we can not have the Colts take 2 running backs in the first 2 rounds this next time. I don't know if I did something wrong or if PFF is just a little bit on crack right now because we're not quite through draft season all the way.
Yeah.
But
Also, Ted McMillan just routinely now going number 1 overall is mind-boggling. I don't even have a top 10 grade on him.
yeah, I do. I don't either at this point. And not to spoil the receiver rankings in a couple weeks, but he's a good player. But overall,
I do have a top 10 grade on him, but I think we can all agree that first overall is a bit.
Yeah, like
The first pick should not be anybody
surprising.
besides Travis Hunter. In my opinion, if I'm the Patriots, like I don't know how you take anybody besides Hunter.
Yeah, considering how much they need.
you got Christian Gonzalez on one side, him on the other side, and you get to play him on offense with Drake May throwing him the football. Like, this isn't. I mean,
Why do anything else?
yeah, the NFL's hard sometimes. That's not hard, right? And also, is it just me or Shadur Sanders is a Titan, not Phil Wright?
It's because the Titans don't have any aura.
I think
The Titans are like I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it. They just. I saw a tweet like earlier this year, and it said something about how whenever a player like wears a Titans uniform, they like lose all of their like.
Well, Julio Jones was a Titan,
lack of better
if you guys remember, and that didn't go so well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ryan Tannehill might be the only guy to join the Titans from free agency and gain aura points because he was really good for a minute.
They're only like free agent edition in his prime.
Also, L'Jarius Sneed like ate shit the second he joined the Titans. What's that about? Anyone else notice that? Like he was just horrendous the second he played, and then he got hurt. Yeah. It's like, you paid a lot of money to go get this and traded stuff for him. It's not great.
Yeah.
And I think Tannehill only gained aura because of how he looked in comparison to Marcus Mariota.
Correct.
Like, I think that's really what it is.
I agree for sure. Any other? I want to. Yeah. Also, again, like this section right here confuses me. Ashton Genty and Jonathan Taylor are the same.
It's funnier when you realize the Colts took a running back again.
Yeah, it's like if we pulled up the full results, you'd notice that the Colts didn't just take one running back; they took 2. Actually,
also,
let's just
3 guys.
I hope they tripled down.
Go ahead, Dalton. Sorry.
Also, like 3 like pretty similar style backs. Like not like necessarily like 3 guys that would do different things, but Taylor, Genty, and Travion Henderson pretty much give you mostly the same thing.
Yeah.
And then they took a tight end in Stowers too, so it's truly like 13 personnel. They're like, let's run 23 personnel.
Yes.
Like Jonathan Taylor is the running back, Ashton Genty is the fullback for some reason. Like Travion Henderson's lined up at tight end. I don't know.
Henderson's going to be the fullback, and they're going to run the wing T.
Yes, correct.
Taylor and Genty.
Genty's, I think, should be the pitch man.
Yes.
And yeah, Taylor's the one with. Yeah, I think that would be amazing. You love that. Hey, Colts, PFF's trying to tell you something, and that is get the ball out of Anthony Richardson's hands, guys. That's what they're telling us to do.
Unless he's running it.
I would love an offense legitimately where like it was the play calls were like it's some like schemed up and like souped up wing T, but then also only deep passes. It's like, all right, we're calling 8 passes a game and 2 in each quarter, and you better be ready to throw them when they happen. Like that's pretty much what's
they're only throw the ball 50 yards down the field.
Michael Pittman quits football because of it. Like he retires. He's like, I'm not doing this shit. I signed here for what? What did I sign here for? Oh my god, no! But that was a fun mock. Hopefully it will get a little bit less goofiness this next time around.
Yeah.
Also, like I had him like in my like, what is this about? Did Zach make this pick? Zach, are you in the mock draft with us? What are we doing here with the Broncos taking 2 to 84? Oh my god, I don't know. Any other fun ones here?
Hopefully,
I
the
like
next
this.
time we do this.
Oh, Will Howard.
Stop drinking.
Oh, Will Howard to the Niners, dude. Hell yeah.
God.
We love it. We love it.
This is so
Unironically,
bad.
though, I think Trevor Sycamore does have, shout out to the NFL Stock Exchange, by the way. I think he has Howard as QB4 right now. I think. I'm not sure about that, but I think when they did the quarterback rankings last week, I'm pretty sure I remember seeing him at like 4. And I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm supposed to disagree with this or if I'm supposed to just be sad. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's like I do disagree with that, but also like I don't know if I really can disagree with it that hard, and that's the problem. You know,
Yeah.
I'd like to disagree harder than I do. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. After Milrow is QB3, I mean, you can put anyone in as QB4, and I could accept it.
yeah, like I could make up a reason for it at that point.
Yeah.
Like with Ewers, it's like, yeah, he's been doing it, man. He's 5-star quarterback. Yeah, Carson Beck was good a year ago. Kyle McCord needed to go to upstate New York, but you figured it out. You know, I don't know. You can make an argument for everybody.
I mean, I really think everyone below Ward has less than 50% chance of being a starter in the NFL.
I think that's fair to say,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, which again, disappointing, but hey, maybe we'll get lucky, and for some reason, I don't know, the kid from South Dakota State's really good that someone mentioned earlier. I don't know, maybe that'll be the case.
Or maybe Dylan Gabriel does turn out to literally be Drew Brees.
Yeah, maybe he's Drew Brees and you draft him at 40th overall and you're happy, guys. If Dylan Gabriel's a Raider, I'm going to lose my mind, by the way. It's going to be awesome. Because, like, I could not imagine a less Raiders quarterback than Dylan Gabriel.
But now I'm, like, thinking about it. And it's like, if
Oh,
your
no.
job is
Oh,
you're
no.
Brock Bowers a lot.
Here's the thing. You
You
could
can do
employ somebody to do that who isn't 5'11" and
Yeah.
29 years old. It feels like he's not that old, but you get the point. You know?
He's old.
This is a full-grown man in college football right now.
Yes.
And he's playing like it, admittedly, so you give him credit. But no. Before we get out of here, what is the funniest quarterback the Raiders could draft in the first 3 rounds?
They can trade for JJ McCarthy.
I don't think
Yeah.
is that bad. I think that would be pretty
Yeah.
okay.
But
I would get it.
I was talking to my dad about this earlier.
Okay.
If you're going to trade for McCarthy, it's probably a second-round pick. And at that point, why not just draft Jalen Milrow and get a very similar quarterback with an extra year of control?
True.
Yeah.
We have Guillotine, which yikers. Cam Ward to the Browns, very much so did happen in this. And then the Browns are going to be dogs, Wath Cam Ward. Appreciate the comments there. Cam Ward on the Browns feels like a disaster. That's all I'm going to say about that. Not saying it wouldn't work, but that sure feels like
It'd be more
chasing.
entertaining than Deshaun Watson.
Well,
so
everything's more entertaining than Deshaun Watson.
That's true.
He's just Deshaun Watson, but slightly younger and not a predator.
Right, and not the most important thing, which is injured all the time. No, but anyway. No, yeah, it'd be
He does
more
have
fun
that
to
going
watch for
for him.
sure. Yeah, he's not constantly injured, not constantly on the table, getting worked on. Making sure he's good to go for that week and that day. And
As far as we know, not diabolically horny.
right, we assume not. He's out there chasing records, not okay. So anyway, good mock draft, I think, for the teams we mocked for. I don't know about the rest of it. Cam Ward can sling the rock like Penix. Well, let me tell you what, he can. There's something else he can sling that's pretty close to that. That's all I'm gonna say, folks. That's enough for me today. We're gonna skip on the rest of that one. Any final thoughts, guys, on the mock itself and not whatever the hell else happened in this so
I
far?
don't know what's wrong with PFF.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah, it's a
that
little
was
weird right
irritating.
now. I'm gonna try to figure out if there's
I
something
would
I
be
can do about that.
so happy if I was the Panthers. and
Oh, the
came with
Panthers made out like kings in this one, dude. They're looking great.
if this is how it plays out, who wins? Who won this draft out of the 4 NFC South teams?
it. I think
Panthers.
it's got to be the Panthers.
Panthers. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm
Yeah,
at.
you get the best player in the draft potentially at 6. You get some
Yeah.
help along the defense in multiple areas. I think you come away happy with that for sure.
Here's the question: if assuming Hunter's not on the board here, because we can get a chance to talk about this, who
Mhm.
would you guys have liked there? Because I feel like Hunter
Carter.
is not realistic. Yeah, I was gonna say you run. I originally thought you'd be running the pick in for Carter before Hunter went on the.
That's who I was expecting to potentially be there that I would have taken.
Yeah.
I think that's the best case scenario realistically for them is
Yeah,
Carter's there at 6. Like I could see Will Johnson being there at 6, and that'd be good to pair with Horn, for sure.
Yeah, but they just
But I
need
think
so
Carter,
much
yeah.
up front.
They do. Like they have, I guess they have Clowney still next year, but like
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with him year to year. Honestly, it's kind of hard to gauge him this year because like it's the Panthers, but yeah, they definitely need a lot of help up front. So that's why I would probably take Carter if he was the best guy there.
Yeah.
Oh, we have Travis Hunter's way too frail. I don't know, man. He be hitting people at corner, man. I don't know you watched the tape on him yet, but if you can,
Yeah.
he was hitting people. Plus,
yeah.
as a receiver, he goes up and gets that football.
Yeah.
Not affected by contact
Like-
that much.
Obviously his actual size isn't. He could add a little weight,
For
but
sure.
he plays a lot bigger than his
Yeah.
listed height and weight.
I'd like to see him creep up towards 200 eventually.
I
Just
agree.
because of, especially if he's going to play both ways a decent amount in the
I
NFL,
agree.
because you need that extra, frankly, just extra muscle and cushion to deal with those hits. But
Yeah.
in general, it has not. I don't think it's been a problem for him at all from like a play, especially from a play strength standpoint. It's not been a problem at all. He's been banged up a little bit here and there, but when you play 1,300 goddamn snaps or whatever the hell you played this year, you're probably going to get hurt a little bit. It's probably going to happen.
Yeah, I mean,
but,
he plays like he thinks he's 6'3", 220.
Yes, right. And as I think someone who plays like him on both sides of the ball, you kind of have to play like that
I agree.
to be successful. So, but yeah, that should do it for us this week, guys. We'll have our tight end rankings next week, which is going to be a lot of fun. We talked a lot about these tight ends, and I have a feeling I already know who Dalton's number one tight end is going to be. I think I know mine too, but
I can't wait for Jake to watch as much of him as we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm obviously this week I'm diving more into them.
Yeah.
Especially
He's in
after
a-
you
I'm
watched
excited now. I
Brock
really I
Bowers all
haven't
year.
watched tight ends. What'd you say?
You've watched Brock Bowers all year, which I think is
Yeah.
going to really make you appreciate this tape.
I'm excited.
Jake's going to end up having like Eli Stowers as tight end 1 just because from Vanderbilt. So, but appreciate it, guys. We'll be back, like I said, next week. Should be same day, same time, but we'll definitely let you guys know when it's going to be coming out. Definitely check the my Twitter at Shayne Kubis to see that. Also, of course, follow Dalton at Blackman Dalton and Jake at Brockhoff, right? Or it's Brockhoff, right?
Yes.
55 on Twitter as well. So, thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you guys next time.